Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Tunku Datuk Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz expressed confidence in Malaysia's ability to withstand a potential recession in the US, citing the nation's recent economic performance as evidence. Despite rising unemployment in the US, Zafrul highlighted several positive domestic economic indicators. These include controlled inflation and a second quarter growth forecast of 5.8%, which contribute to an optimistic outlook for Malaysia. However, he emphasized the need for Malaysia to prepare for worst-case scenarios by focusing on resilient industries. Zafrul explained that as an open economy with a trade to gross domestic product ratio of 130%, it must ensure that the economy is diverse, not just in terms of products and GDP, but also in markets. Zafrul made these remarks following the National Consultation Meeting on Green Trade organised by Khazanah Research Institute in collaboration with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. When asked if the worsening situation in the US would impact the recently announced National Semiconductor Strategy, Zafrul clarified that the NSS is a long-term program extending until 2030. Earlier in his speech, Zafrul highlighted the importance of extending green financing to all companies in Malaysia, particularly small and medium enterprises, to foster industry development and green trade. He added that the government is in discussions with various stakeholders, including the financial and banking sectors, to prioritise loans that support these companies. Straits Energy Resources has proposed to list its 76.68% owned subsidiary TMD Energy on the New York Stock Exchange American by the fourth quarter of 2024. The company had initially planned to list its oil bunkering and shipping-related services segment on the Nasdaq. According to its bourse filing, based on the indicative issue price ranging between $3.25 and $3.75 per issue share, the proposed initial public offering is expected to raise gross proceeds ranging between $5.69 million and $15 million. According to Straits Energy, TMDE intends to utilize proceeds of up to 50.93 million ringgit towards the expansion of its oil bunkering segment, which may include but is not limited to the purchase of cargo oil. The company said that this listing would enable management to efficiently allocate its resources to accelerate the expansion and growth of the oil bunkering and shipping related services business. It would also allow the group to unlock the value of its investment in the business through the share offering exercise under the proposed IPO, thus enhancing the value for shareholders. Kumpulan Kitacon has secured a contract worth $111.23 million for the construction of factories and industrial facilities in Klang, Selangor. In a bourse filing, the construction firm said that its wholly owned subsidiary had accepted a letter of award from Sime Darby Property, Bukit Raja, for the proposed work. The contract involves the construction and completion of 27 detached factories with two-storey offices, one larger detached factory with a two-storey office, two substations including related infrastructure at Bandar Bukit Raja 3 in Klang, Selangor. The project is scheduled to commence on September 2nd and is expected to be completed within 23 months. With the latest win, Kitacon has secured 5 contracts since the beginning of the year worth a total of 446.85 million ringgit. The group expects the latest contract to contribute positively to its earnings and net assets per share for FY 2024 and until the completion of the contract. As of end May, the group's outstanding order book stands at 1.26 billion ringgit. Autopart distributor MSB Global Group has filed for an initial public offering on the ACE market to raise funds to rebuild a factory that doubles up as a warehouse. The proposed IPO involves a public issue of 133 million new shares and an offer for sale of 74 million existing shares at a price to be determined later, MSB Global said in the draft prospectus. The new factory-cum-warehouse located in Ulu Tiram in Johor is expected to have an estimated built-up area of about 79,905 square feet at a land owned by MSB Global MD Dato' Au Ki Fu. MSB Global largely resells aftermarket aftermarket automotive parts and components such as drive shaft and fuel pump, which generates a little over 2/3 of its annual revenue. The rest comes from marketing and distribution of automotive lubricants and fluids, including engine oil. In FY 2023, the company made a net profit of 8.26 million on revenue of 63.87 million from sales to over 200 customers. Proceeds from the exercise will also go towards the purchase of new machinery and equipment and other expenses for the commissioning of its new blending, as well as fill and finish production lines for its automotive lubricants and fluids business. Further, it is also budgeting some of the proceeds to buy and market its in-house branded electric vehicle chargers, with the target to launch it by the second quarter of 2025. The proposed development of a port city on Carey Island could significantly boost the land value of SD Guthrie over time to the tune of 7.1 billion, according to Maybank IB. SD Guthrie owns 11,000 hectares of about 85% of land in Carey Island. Assuming the unconverted agricultural land is valued at 6 ringgit per square foot, it could be worth 7.1 billion or 23% of its current market capitalization, said the research firm in a note dated August 11th. Maybank IB is maintaining its earnings forecast for SD Guthrie as the monetization of the Carey Island land is expected to occur gradually. It has a buy call on the stock on 0.055 times realized net asset value, with a target price of 4 ringgit 96. Over the weekend, the Edge Malaysia Weekly reported that PKNS, the Selangor State Economic Development Corporation, is planning to spearhead the development of Carey Island. The multi-billion ringgit port development could start soon if the target of getting it up and running by 2030 remains. SD Guthrie stock has risen 2.75% so far this year. It closed today 0.45% up at 4 ringgit and 50 cents.